Wow, just as I start recording this, the police thing that the police siren that's going off, like, stops going off. Weird. I thought that was going to annoy me, but you know. Anyway, lucky. Hello YouTube, this is Untitled here, and welcome back to another Python tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about not lists. As you can see here, this is like a list. We've already covered lists. Well, a little bit, and I probably will go over them more whenever I talk about another complicated topic to do with lists that I'm still trying to understand myself. But we're going to talk about loops. Now, loops basically let you go over a list or a tuple, or as I'm going to cover in a future tutorial, dictionaries, or even strings, because a string is like a string is a string of characters. It's a list of characters, so it's basically like a list without the fancy items. If you know about list splicing, then you can splice strings. I think you can splice dictionaries as well, but that's another topic. If you don't know what list splicing is, don't worry, I'll cover it soon. In about 5 tutorials, probably I'll cover it. Not in 5 tutorials, I mean after 5 tutorials. Anyway, so say you have a list like this. Say you have your list of all the people you know, and you want to send them all an email saying that, you know, you rock, you're awesome, so on. Well, you could say print people 0, print people 1, and so on, and that would work. But that's, you know, it's good because you get to type more, but it's kind of bad because once you get to Declan McKeague here in my list, that's the 5th index. Say you try to access a 6th one, you will get a list index out of bounds error. You could set up some fancy code to check that, but for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to show you lists, which is a more common way to go over items in a list, or a string, or a tuple, or whatever. So let's say for item in people, print I am friends with then let's say plus item. I am friends with myself, Clodagh Maher, Caitlin, Ryan Rogan, Ryan Keenan, and Declan McKeague. Now, you might not know what this does. Well, this basically prints a string saying I am friends with space and then plus and then item. Well, first I'll talk about what item is. Well, the for loop basically says for each item in the people list. So for every item in the people list, store the index that we're at in item. So if we're at the 0th index, item will be equal to the value people. Item is a temporary variable that is deleted after the list has ran. After that, it's deleted from memory and you can't access it anymore. But it's temporary inside the loop. So for every item in the people list, go over it in order starting from index 0 and store whatever the value of the current index that we are on in the temporary variable item. So whenever we're going over it, it'll start at myself, it will store the value of myself in item, then here it will print I am friends with myself. Now basically what this plus does, this is called concatenation, and it basically shoves something onto the end of a string. So I am friends with space plus item. So we're basically adding the string item to the print statement that we have here. But it just shoves it on. It's like appending something to the list. It just appends it to the string that we're printing out. It just shoves it on. It doesn't add any spaces. In fact, you could do this. I am friends with this. It would work just fine, but you know, that looks very ugly. That's why we need this space, so there's a space. If we didn't have this space, it would just say, I am friends with Clodagh Maher, I am friends with Caitlin, I am friends with Ryan Rogan, I am friends with Ryan Keenan, I am friends with Declan McKeague, and so on. So you basically need this space so that it can shove it on with a space. That's really all concatenation does. You'd also, no, I'm not going to show that in this tutorial. I'll cover concatenation more, well, all the different types of concatenation in another tutorial. You can only append strings you only concatenate strings to the end of a print statement or a string. If it's a number, you have to cast it to a string. I covered casting in another tutorial. I think it was one of the first ones. But anyway, hopefully that covers what concatenation is. So, as you know here, whenever we're on the first index item, we'll have the value myself. And that's why here, whenever we concatenate item to this string, it says myself. Prints out, then it goes on to the next index and says I am friends with Caitlin, because then item has the value Caitlin. And so on. There is an else clause for the for loop that isn't very well known actually. We say else print hello world. So once we get to the end of it, after we finish this, after we finish going over everything, it will say else print hello world. We could say finished looping. There we go, finish looping. So after we finish looping through all this, it will say else print finish looping. If we don't want to print this, we can say continue. Actually, no, we can't. Actually, I must be thinking of something else. Anyway, so the else clause is basically ran like an if else statement, except it always goes to else after we finish looping through every item in our list. So after we finish looping through everything, it basically goes under the else. I have no idea why they called it else. Maybe there's some other use for it that I'm not aware of, but it's called else, and it's something that you can run after you loop over everything. So if you want something to happen after you loop over after you loop over everything in your for loop, you would use the else clause. So hopefully you understood that. If there was anything you didn't understand, leave a comment and I will try my best to help you. If I can't help you, if I don't get your comment, but you know the answer to somebody's question, feel completely free to answer their question. I would greatly appreciate it. Not that I get many comments in these tutorials. Anyway, it's not a problem. Yes, it did. That's column 97 now. Just wondered what the column thing did. I'm so easily distracted. Anyway, thanks for watching this tutorial. Please leave a like if it helped you, and if you want to see more of this series. It really helps me and it encourages me to make more of these tutorials. Subscribe if you want to see more Python tutorials in the or any sort of tutorials, like maybe even Lua tutorials if you want more. If there's something you want me to cover in Lua, love to see tutorials. They'll be coming back very soon. Don't worry. And Pygame tutorials, they'll be coming back very, very soon after I finish this Python series. I'll start Pygame again because I need to cover Python 2.7.6 again, because I don't want people having to go to that old crappy tutorial series that I did on Python. Wow, I'm losing my voice. I must have been like that 13 or so attempts at recording this. Yeah, thanks for watching. My name is SnapGK and I will see you in the next tutorial.